All right, y'all, let's talk about this. Let me turn my TV down. I'm watching the Fantastic Four for the first time. Probably should pause it because it's at the point where Galactus is talking to the Fantastic Four. Then I'm not going to know what's going on. That ain't no big deal. I got the power of the rewind button. All right, so let's get into this video. And there's four main topics I want to talk about in this video. The first topic that I want to talk about is Saraya, and how if Saraya was to go back to the WWE, they would bury her. I've said this a long time ago, and I'm going to give you my reasons why I believe that, and there's a whole lot of other people that see the same things. For one, my main thing with Saraya is fragile. She cannot take big bumps anymore. You can see in her style, she can still perform, but there's nothing about her performance that's going to make you go, oh, wow. It's more like a we like Saraya type of thing. But at some point, you will see the weakness in her physicality match after match. And when you're not durable and wrestlers get injured all the time, I think health-wise, it's better that Saraya stays out the ring, in all honesty. And if you look at it, where else is she wrestling? Not in the independents or nothing. Now, I don't know how much she wants to wrestle as opposed to her really understanding her better days in that ring are over. You can see she can't really take bumps, but let's look at what happened. She came to AEW, she got high praise, she had her holy shit moment, and she got her you deserve it moment. She won the title. So her career did not go in vain. It's just that people was hoping that, hey, we get more Saraya. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And I don't like to speculate. So unless she comes out and tell us why she hasn't been wrestling and physically, even if you feel good, you can see the eye test shows you Saraya is not durable, man. And she eventually will probably end up just having one of those situations where before her time of being able to really be called up in age, she'll be injured in that neck, and you can just see how she takes bumps. I watched it and I said, okay, I didn't see Saraya really having too much of a long title reign, but AEW honored her and gave her something that she couldn't get in the WWE. If she went back to the WWE, what are they going to do with her? Are they going to stick her in NXT? Or are they going to have her come out, have her holy shit moment, her welcome back moment? She has some words, probably slap somebody, maybe hit a finisher on them, just to end up losing at the pay-per-view and then being used to put over a Roxanne Perez or other younger talent. And it's like, okay, she's back, but what is she doing? I mean, let's look at Nikki Bella. She came back and did what? AJ Lee came back, had a match, and did what? You understand? It would just be, okay, we took another one from AEW. Okay, we know the purpose of the 90-day compete clause is to slow down whatever momentum you had, okay, from the previous company. Well, your beloved WWE is trying to make it 2 years. Yeah, picture that. But they care about their talent so much. They care about how you feed yourself. They're willing to have you sidelined for 2 years if you want out of their company. This shows the desperation and shows that they're downright greedy, rotten, hateful people. Okay, they're all about themselves and their company. That's all they care about. Okay, Saraya goes back to WWE. She's getting buried. And that's simple. Now, it's her choice. It's anyone's choice of where they go. But if you look at the landscape and what's happening in WWE, what would make you want to go there? What is your presence going to do that's going to all of a sudden, the magic is back in WWE? Not a damn thing. You'll just be on a roster, sitting there, smiling and laughing in front of the camera and off camera going, what the hell was I thinking? I didn't think they would do this to me. Hey, what was I thinking? Okay. So I say, whatever Saraya does, she has the right to do it. It's her business. But that's my view. They would bury her. I have no reason to think that otherwise. And I haven't seen anything happen with anyone that they brought back where something spectacular happened. I mean, hell, they brought CM Punk back to WWE, and guess what? What the hell has he actually done that you really cared about? What has CM Punk done? And those ratings went back to a 5.9 or higher. What has CM Punk done that really, CM Punk, I can't wait to see him versus. Nope. He's a beat up old man, and pretty much he wrestles like it now. And what y'all fail to understand, without AEW, CM Punk is not in the WWE right now. Without AEW, Cody Rhodes wouldn't be in the position in the WWE that he's in right now, which is not much. I'm here to finish my story. Okay, that storyline's dead, so now what? He just holds the belt and comes out with his trench coat on looking like Columbo / Dick Tracy, and this is what you get from Cody Rhodes. Saraya is buried as she goes back to the WWE. Next topic. Karrion Kross and Scarlett. The WWE completely dropped the ball with these two. How they dropped the ball with them is really simple. Out of nowhere, Karrion Kross and Scarlett ended up becoming household favorites. You heard how the crowd would cheer for them when all they were doing was backstage segments. They kept giving them little goofy spots here and there, but the crowd was reacting to them. Why did the WWE refuse to do anything but give them backstage segments and pretty much bury them and hold them back? Is because even though, okay, we can hear the way the crowd is reacting to them, we hear what's being said on the internet, we read the comments that's on the internet, we just don't know what to do with them because we don't see them the way you guys do. They did the same thing to Bryan Danielson. You guys are cheering for, yes, right? And what happened? What happened? Which they stole that from the Don't Fire Eric in TNA. But yeah, they refused to give him the push that he deserved. Okay. But like little spoiled brats, like little inconsiderate, it's all about me, even though it's about the wrestler. You guys don't want to support anyone once they leave the WWE, but yet you love them so much and you always talk about the great moments and memories. Right. That's a fallacy on your behalf. They dropped the ball with him because they could have capitalized off of this newfound popularity that Karrion Kross and Scarlett gained. Now, Scarlett as a wrestler, maybe not so much, but as the corner piece and / half mouthpiece for Karrion Kross. And if she wants to wrestle, I do see her do independent shows. I see Karrion Kross do independent shows. They couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with them. So what do? They go get a cheap, phony imitation replacement in Aleister Black and Zelina Vega to try to replace. You can clearly see that's what they're trying to do. Let me try to replace Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I don't feel like it's that big of a loss because, like I said, we as the WWE don't see Scarlett and Karrion Kross the way the fans did. Aleister Black has a look, but in the ring, it's just nothing special about him. And that's just his story. So now they, come with this cheap imitation. And pretty much they drop the ball. When you don't know how to capitalize off of a moment, and it's not about just a moment, long-term booking. It has to start somewhere. Where does this start happen and where do we push them? Example, explain to me how in the sweet fuck does Lash Legend make it to the Blue Brand before Jordan Grace? Just saying, how? How is it Chelsea Green gets a title? The same one she lost that nobody cares about. Nothing going on to this dead-ass women's division. And Julia, I told you guys, you know what it is about Julia that you WWE lovers don't understand? I told you guys, Julia is a better fit in AEW. Why? Julia is not an entertainer. of a wrestler. She is a wrestler. She is a wrestling machine. Watch her in Stardom. Watch anything else she's done before WWE, and you go, that's a bad woman. But no, they try to put her with the storyline nonsense, that the silly stuff, the little, animated stuff, that she's not Asuka. Nobody knows what the hell Asuka's saying or the other chicken, but it's that's what you got from them, and you're used to that. That's not Julia. Julia is a wrestler. You have to know how to build and how to disguise certain things that people cannot do. Rob Van Dam was never good on the microphone, but they let him talk, and he did his little thing, and he had his little catchphrase and his little RVD. Ricky Steamboat wasn't good on the mic, but he could wrestle. So you have to put people in situations where, okay, if they're not advancing in certain ways, it's not like they're useless. It's just, no, let's take that away. Why do you think Paul Heyman was the mouthpiece for Brock Lesnar for so long? Why do you think MVP has been the mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin? Do you understand what I mean? That's not their strong point when it comes to doing promos and stuff. That's not their strong point. So now look at Julia. Oh, WWE wanted to get her so bad. Yeah, now they got it. What are they doing with it? And the only reason why, mark my words, that Stephanie Vaquer is holding the title right now and they're trying to keep her in a certain spotlight is because they knew they were going to acquire AAA. And in them doing that, they figured, hey, we got a heavy hitter that's been there already, done some work there. They know who she is. But Stephanie Vaquer is another one. She is a wrestler. You can barely understand her. Her English isn't good, right? And you put her on the mic just to say what? And then try to put her in storylines where she can't deliver on the mic. Do you understand? So what she says has to be short and directly to the point. But when you build storylines around a real wrestler and put them in angles where they're around a bunch of they don't fit in, which means they should be dominant. They make statements. So, they have more belief in Stephanie Vaquer for those reasons. If you put Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia one-on-one in any other promotion, I guarantee you go, that was a great match. Why in the WWE is nobody talking about their matches against each other? It's different. The dynamics of it, what's building around it, and how they build it up, and everything that surrounds the two of them. There's nothing between the two, chemistry-wise, that make you go, hey, man, I want to see this and that happen with them. Notice when they first came, they had them teaming together, right? Yeah. And remember, you go back and look at the match, Stephanie Vaquer versus Mercedes Moné, you go, that was a great match. Okay. Why is a great match not accepted in WWE? Tell me a story. I want a story. I don't care about wrestling. You see, she's not a good fit over there because they don't know what to do with her. And as soon as Stephanie loses her title and they lose interest in her, because what else do we do with her now? She can't cut good promos. We can't build storylines around her where it makes any sense. Okay, let's start to put her more in a AAA situation. Do you understand? Or put her in other people from AAA because they're going to come up with some goofy ideas that doesn't work. And that's just the way that goes. So now, once again, if you're looking at how they treat certain wrestlers, I remember when Karrion Kross was Killer Kross. And if you look at his work in TNA, for example, compared to now, you go, damn, how does WWE not see what they had in this guy? Okay, like I said, Scarlett, not so much as a wrestler. There's nothing special about her abilities wrestling-wise. But hey, man, there's plenty of things they could have did with her. And I feel like, especially when it comes to husband and wife, stop this corny shit, man. Stop this corny. Like, I never respected when they did this nonsense with Lana and Bobby Lashley. I don't like storylines like that. And that's why the Lana Miro shit didn't work in AEW. And I was hoping AEW don't try to, like, let's continue that bull crap. I hate that kind of stuff, personally. If anything, and the thoughts that I remember having then was they could have a segment where Miro, first of all, it should have been them being reunited. And if they had embraced in that ring, you understand, like they were supposed as a couple, the fans would have went bananas for that. They could have even had a segment, and this is what was my thinking when this was happening, where they're confronted by someone and they're having their words or something, and somebody makes a comment like, "You two don't even get along," or that fake hug or something. And they could have responded with something like, "First of all, this is my wife, right? That's right. This is my husband. This is AEW. We don't do stupid things like that here. We do what's real." And then start to kick their ass, anything. You understand what I'm saying? Something that debunks the whole stupid, "Hey man, this is good stuff," when it's not. That sports entertainment stuff just goes too far, man. But anyways, they dropped the ball with him, man. And so, yeah, if Karrion Kross and Scarlett does end up in AEW, AEW won't have them just sitting here doing a bunch of stupid backstage segments. That's just not. I mean, that's just not what people tune in to see. And the ovation they was getting was okay. They were starting to build up some momentum as far as people wanting to see them. Okay, they're on the big stage now. They're in SmackDown. But what are they doing? What are they doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Hey, let's put them in the ring. We want to see something. And they didn't capitalize. They dropped the ball with them. And Aleister Black as Zelina Vega is going to flop. It's not going to be what Scarlett and Karrion could have been. And I believe that even if they would have capitalized as far as using them, looking at what they're doing with all the other talent, they would have failed them as well. So, Karrion Kross, Zelina Vega have no reason to come back to WWE. Third thing I want to talk about. My partner said, "Hey man, I know you don't watch the WWE no more." He said, "But if you want something to talk about real quick," he said, "check the highlights of Jade Cargill right now." And I saw this from SmackDown, and it's like a 3-minute clip or something. I check out the clip, and notice Jade Cargill is wearing heels like that thick to make her look even much taller. Now, Charlotte Flair always tower over all the other female wrestlers. Notice how she looks short compared to Jade. They're trying to make her look like a giant now. Got her. Now, notice she's starting to get toned, get like, thicker again, right? Notice she's building her muscles back up, right? And then, two, she's dressed like freaking China. She comes out, walks to the ring, cuts a short promo, and ends it with, "Because I'm that bitch." Oh, that's what she used to say where? AEW. And I said, wow, look at the WWE trying to resort to AEW's formula for her. And see, you know why she dominated? You see, her versus Tiffany Stratton, for her to dominate, the only that downside to that was them, with the whole, she was injured, had an injured leg. Like I said, so that means in the rematch, she's supposed to win the rematch also. And she's still supposed to look dominant. See, this is one of the biggest problems with the WWE. Take the Ultimate Warrior, a Hulk Hogan, a Lex Luger, take any of them and put them in wrestling right now with this mindset. How are you having 50-50 matches with all the different odds that go against a lot of people? Example, when you see Darby Allin getting his ass kicked, it's not just because he likes this stunt, crazy stuff that he does, but does it look believable that Darby Allin could go head up with Powerhouse Hobbs and beat him how is this a 50-50 match? No. Where's the psychology of it all? If that's the case in real fighting, we wouldn't need weight classes in combat sports now, would we? Okay. It just takes away. Because now it's like this man is 280 pounds and he's in here having a 50-50 match with a 150-pound guy. He's a monster. No, he isn't. These guys don't stand out when you do things like that. There's nothing. You call him Powerhouse Hobbs on top of that. You've never in your life saw a skinny guy walking down the street and said, boy, I wouldn't want to fight him. Who do people say that about? Big guys. Now here we are with the profession called professional wrestling. And we have a guy, 150 pounds, fighting these big giants. And it's a 50-50 match. It just makes no sense. So Hulk Hogan would be getting pinned, by CM Punk. Ultimate Warrior would run down to the ring and do all of this and get pinned by Cody Rhodes, and it would be a crap of a show. You can't see something from its beginning, from its genesis, and look at the essence of what was going on, and then take that and then piss all over it and expect to get the same results. The psychology is not there. I told you guys a couple months ago, Booker T out of his own mouth said it's difficult to book big guys like Omos. This is why you don't see these giants anymore. And what Booker T is saying, and anybody else that agrees with Booker T, I don't care who it is we're just not as creative in this era, not even close to what we were back in the day. I mean, how do you book Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, Haystacks Calhoun, Elegante? How do you book people like that? How do you sit back and go, oh, they were true legends? Okay, well, why is it so hard? Because they've gotten lazy. The creativity is not what it was. They've gotten lazy. Let's just do this and do that and just, okay, no, man. Once you start to do that, it takes away. That's what made it. Listen, when you hear me say wrestling used to have larger than life characters, that's what made it fun. Because I could sit here and watch the big boss man come out here dressed like a damn police officer. You understand what I mean? And then he's in there fighting against Akeem, a big white Muslim. You understand what I mean? It was the fun factor of it wasn't so much just what they said. It was, but it wasn't the whole thing. Because you tell stories in your promos also in the ring. But just looking at this, we're watching a cop fight a big, fat, tall, white Muslim, right? And then he's trying to talk like slick and everything and doing all this jive shit. So it was just funny to watch this kind of shit. The characters were funny. You understand what I mean? It was cool for me to watch Ricky Steamboat come down there and blow the fire, got the little dragon wings on and stuff, and fight Hercules Hernandez, who came out dressed like the Greek gods and all. See, I mean, it was a psychology that it's a show, but it's entertaining. What they consider entertaining now, grab the microphone and just talk for 25 minutes, insult each other, and just say a bunch of childish shit. And I feel like I'm watching grown men, I feel like I'm watching little small children trapped in grown-up bodies. Some of them don't even look like grown-ups, but they all just act like a bunch of spoiled little brats. There's nothing interesting about what they're saying and how they're doing it. They're just in the ring talking and doing much of nothing. Okay, the era of superstars is over. I told you. So even when, Kevin Owens, they say he's coming back. So what? What is Kevin Owens going to do that's going to spark anything? Oh, the ratings are back up. What's Kevin Owens going to do? If AEW was able to create superstars right now that all of a sudden, now the ratings are even up in AEW, and these guys are these guys are starting. They're like wherever they go, people know who they are. You know what you WWE fans would be saying? Oh, they need to come to WWE. You wouldn't have the respect to say, hey man, kudos to AEW. Hey, shit. Hey, this guy's good. This guy's good. Hey man, they have a great thing going. No, you would hate on it and cross your fingers and hope something goes wrong, that when their contract is up, they'd rather run to WWE. Once again, looking at the state of the WWE, who's going to come there and change things around? The talent does not stand out. So it's either you're in AEW or WWE, but there's nothing about the talent where it's next level. This person is a superstar. This person got the ratings going up. Everywhere this person goes, the wrestling audience follows them. That's not what it is. Not at all. And that's part of what happened during the Vince McMahon Jr. era with the whole pick a side. And this is why instead of people just enjoying WWE and enjoying WCW and watching what was going on, it was pick a side. You either WWE or WCW. And I felt like that was just so stupid, man. You know, ECW was in the fray, but they were on a smaller scale. But they were still there. And we know the rest is history. You know, we saw what was going on. We saw what happened. And when ECW shut, they had a whole bunch of people go to WCW. They had a whole bunch of people go to WWE. But at the end of the day, professional wrestling as we knew it had changed, and it was no longer about let's enjoy wrestling. It was all about just pick a side. This product is great. That one sucks. We don't like them. Oh, they're the ops. And I don't watch them. It was so stupid, man. So, yeah. If Jade Cargill right now left WWE, I don't know that Tony Khan takes her back right away. And even if it did happen, right, whatever momentum she would have, okay, is very low right now because the ratings have slipped. And I don't know what last night's SmackDown ratings were or whatever. But my point is, it wouldn't really matter. It would only matter to the AEW fans that miss Jade. Overall, WWE fans would be going, oh man, she was this and she was that. Who cares? Why? Because now she's actually gone. But even here right now, you guys have been saying how green she is. She can't wrestle, but now she's your women's champion on SmackDown. So it's obvious Triple H and his little team don't see these people the way you do, in a good or bad way. You understand? So they tried to give her that formula. That's why when you hear me say, Jade is not Kurt Angle. She's not Bret Hart. Okay? Hell, she's not Gail Kim. All right? She's not the technical wrestler. She's a bruiser. She's a kick-ass Ultimate Warrior, Goldberg, Luger. That's what Jade is. You have to let Jade be Jade. That's not just Jade, any wrestler. You have to let them be them. Do what makes them comfortable. Then you blame the audience blames them. The spectators blame them because they're not catching on to something the way that the WWE is trying to get them to do it, because simple, they're not built that way, man. Look, when I was a kid, I remember I wanted to learn how to backflip. One of my cousins knew how to backflip. My father I see him out there in the backyard doing backflips. And I remember, like, my cousin, he'd do it, but his body would be like bent crooked, right? Something about backflips, I'm just like, man, I was scared I was going to land on my head or something, right? So we did it on a mattress. It wasn't enough. 2 mattresses, I was able to, okay, I did it. And I started doing backflips. I didn't have a reason to do them. I just wanted to do them. You see them in the martial arts movies. Okay. I saw a kid backflip one day. He was older than me. I was probably, when this happened, I was like 10 or 11. I saw a kid that was about 14 or 15. He flipped, landed straight in his head, busted all this shit up. I watched his neck like jam into his shoulder. Like he was, and I never did a backflip again after that. I just stopped. And this motherfucker was nice. Like he could backflip and land in the same spot. You know how when you flip, you're going backwards? He could do it and just keep landing in the same spot. But he landed, he did one, and I said, nah, no more backflipping for me. So I know sometimes you will build a phobia to something like, nah, and your body won't let you do it because your mind is just shuts down like, no. So it's the same thing. Like you see Jade do that AJ Styles move, you know, from the outside, she jump on the rope and then jump off at the clothesline. Okay. But that's something that she probably don't feel comfortable doing. And that's the move she slipped and did at that Crown Jewel. And everybody, oh man, she's this and she's that, she botches. Let Jade be Jade. So my point, AEW knew how to camouflage her weaknesses. WWE goes, nope, we're going to, slim you down. Now look at how her body looks right now compared to just last month. Yeah, I told you, she got all skinny. She was just well-toned, but skinny. I'm like, what happened to her, man? Her arms are skinny. Her shoulders had got all small. Her thighs started to look, and it was like, what? Now, the whole look she has is different. Why? We want to turn them to divas. So they try to turn her back into I'm that bitch. Finally, right? And she dominates Tiffany Stratton. Typical Jade Cargill style, right? So yeah, for all of you that was trying to defend the WWE, shut up. How stupid do you look now? Because they tried to resort to copying AEW's formula for her. And that's pretty much what they should have done from the start. But no, they always want to put their thumbprint on someone and make them different from the way you remember them. So I don't know what Jade is going to be able to do that's going to, really captivate the people's interest. And I thought it was completely stupid when my partner, from the segment I watched, that little, 3-minute clip, because out comes Charlotte and her partner, and, her and Jade is having little words, and then Charlotte turns back like she's trying to go wrestle her, and her partner grabs her like, nah, come on, we got business in the ring. So, of course, this is Charlotte versus Jade. So what? So what? That's something. Do you guys not remember when she first got there? She's one of the first people. Remember how she was talking? Charlotte was talking, and Jade walked up, and the camera went to Jade, and then, or however, when I'm Jade Cargill, and she's like, I know who you are, and this and that. So it just recycling the same shit, and this is what WWE does. Something they've been trying to do forever, which is why I said wrestling, it sucks when you do this. The Rock was talking about him and Roman Reigns like 4, 5, 6 years ago. And they kept trying. The only thing that happened was the fans let them know, we don't want to see you versus Roman Reigns, Rock. We want to see Roman versus Cody. That was the difference, okay? And that's why they made last-minute plans to scrap that and change it to where they turned it to a tag match on night 1, and then on night 2, Roman Reigns loses to Cody. But you see what happened on night 1. The Rock pins Cody in a tag match. So it was, okay, let's switch up. Which was cool that they did that, because the people didn't want to see that. But it shows you what I said. They've been relying far too much on past stars. That's why they can't build new ones. See, you can build wrestlers up and, okay, people watch the product because they like the wrestling product. But in terms of them being larger than life characters, them being hey man, the ratings are up, the people are in. See, you guys are worried about merchandise, who's selling more merchandise, and you're worried about more personal behind the scenes things and business versus the actual wrestling product. You get involved in too much, and I agree with Triple H or anybody else that says, man, look, you're doing too much, you're trying to be critics, and yeah, I agree with that. You guys you're always making comparisons from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and trying to have them relive moments. That moments happen, they come, they go. They come and they go. Now, what's actually important is that when that show goes off, you were entertained from start to finish, or at least the majority of the show. I'm not too picky, but this stuff is like little child's play. It's insulting. And it's just boring. Simple. So Jade Cargill, yeah, oh man, but she's not learning. No. Plain and simple. It's just like we said. In boxing, you get a trainer that can understand the fighter, and they can mesh together where this person, at some point, you can't change the fighter, but add to what they already have and sharpen up and hide their weaknesses, get them to, like, okay, in the pocket, defensively, you're going to get hit if you stand there. I need you to use your legs more, learn how to turn at the shoulder, keep your hands up and tuck your chin. Don't engage when you don't need to, work off that jab. Whereas before that, you might have been standing in the pocket just banging with guys, taking unnecessary punishment, making fights harder for you to win because you're fighting the wrong strategy. Okay, every trainer, you can't give a fighter just any trainer. A trainer can win Trainer of the Year and get with a guy and do much or nothing for that particular fighter. It's just facts. So, yeah, you have to know how to adjust and how to shape and mold and help a person grow into who they are. And that's what they wasn't doing. And again, this is why you finally saw Jade look dominant in the ring in a one-on-one. And against who of all people? Tiffany Stratton. And the fear that everybody had was they're trying to make her the next Charlotte Flair. And she's going to have one of those 14, 15, 60 times, world championship reigns or something like that. Okay, whatever. But yeah, and all of this, I'm that bitch. Well, She didn't get popular for that saying in WWE. That's strictly straight up AEW material. Yeah. You see the desperation, don't you? My last topic, Nikki Blackheart is on the independent circuit. She has a great look. She's strong. She's muscular. She's still a little green, but the potential is there, and I see her getting better in the ring. She's not WWE material. That does not mean she's not good. That does not mean that she doesn't belong because she can't compete. No, she's not WWE material because she's not the actress wrestler. She is a kick-ass powerhouse. They would not know what to do with her, and they keep showing it. I've noticed even, look at Jade. Like I said, Jade had got all skinny, just had muscle tone, but skinny as hell. Jordan Grace, she lost all her fucking muscular definition. Look at Jordan Grace now. There's nothing about Jordan Grace that stands out. She doesn't look like the Juggernaut anymore. They tried to make these women into divas. In all honesty, the only real, well, Jade is starting to, beef back up a little, just, but she started to have that solid look again, not that little smooth, slim toned muscle shit. Aside from her, the only jacked woman that they have is Bianca Belair. But Bianca doesn't have a kick-ass mentality. She's still a spoiled brat too. Like when she try to pin you and you kick out, she throws her little tantrums and all this, and she'll do something to show power, but she doesn't have that dominant mentality. She doesn't have that presence. And to be honest with you, Jade don't need to have them thick ass heels on, but they're trying to make her look so big. It's like, wow, man, like she's towering over the rest of these people. Typical stupidity of WWE. This is what I'm saying. All the little gimmick stuff. They don't know what to do. Same way. They would not know what to do with Nikki Blackheart. And for the people there's some people who, a lot of people didn't know who she was. I put them on to who Nikki Blackheart is. She's over in CCW. I love watching her work over there. And I'm going to tell you right now, they would not know what to do with her. Now, Nikki Blackheart, if Tony Khan and, if he see her, know who she is and like what he see in her and bring her in, then she's more of an AEW fit regardless. And when I say AEW, I don't want to see her go to Ring of Honor first. Now, I wouldn't mind for this reason, the experience she gained. Okay, for that reason, I wouldn't mind at all. Because one of the issues I would have with bringing a Nikki Blackheart to a main roster right now, she's going to start gaining a bunch of losses. And that just kills the momentum. Man, she's all big and swole for nothing. That's what it would look like. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing her in Ring of Honor first. But I would prefer her just not even be there at all. And that way, we get a polished Nikki Blackheart. Looking at her, it doesn't think it's going to take long for her to really just turn into that well-balanced, just all around, just impressive female wrestler. She's getting there, okay. But I can see her going to NXT, losing to people that she shouldn't lose to, completely kill the momentum, and this is what you see happening with Jordan Grace right now. Jordan isn't physically a big person, but she was really, jacked. She was powerful, and Jordan Grace was a hard-hitting. Her look complemented her ability. Now she just looks soft and like, what happened to you? And this is what the WWE does. They try to make you into superstar, movie actress, Broadway play, diva-looking women. They do not want you to look the part that they found you in. Let's just be real. Do you want to see someone who has the potential to really go in there and put on great matches and do what they love to do? Or are you more selfish and make it about yourself and want to see them go in there and play the part of another diva? Nobody stands out. That's the problem. You look at all these wrestlers in WWE. Who really stands out? Who do you look at and it's just something about their look? None of them. They're just there. So, Bianca being out so long, it has to be more than just her goddamn finger. Remember, she was talking about her finger. She's been out for a long time. It take that long. What the hell happened to her finger? You know what I mean? Has to be more than that. Don't know what's going on. Like I said, I don't like to speculate, but that's what made wrestling fun back in the day, because all the characters had they were original, they were different, and they had a presence about themselves that made you want to watch. It was like when you watched those old kung fu movies back in the day, right? And you got the crane style versus the tiger style, and things happening in the movie where, man, I'm gonna rewind that. Well, you couldn't rewind back then until you started with. But if you when it rented videotapes and all that, yeah, you watched them over and over, man, because it was just that intriguing. And this is what I'm saying. Now it's more just like wrestlers will come out and they will wrestle. They'll cut their promos. But wrestling characters, they vary. They vary. Wrestling characters vary. Just to throw some paint on your face, stick your tongue out, and growl is not. It's way more to it than that. Which is why the whole, what do you call them? What is Roman Reigns and them? Whatever their little group is, not Roman Reigns. Solo Sequoia, and they look so stupid. All of them just big and fat with goddamn paint on their face. They look stupid. The Wyatt Six looks stupid. The Wyatt Six is like the Flock. You remember Raven, Heavy Metal, Van Hammer, Billy Kid? It's like the Flock somehow. And there's nothing special about them. This is what I'm saying. You give people some gimmick where they're doing little weird gestures and doing things, but what do they do in the ring? There's nothing about the matches that stand out that you even remember. These little segments, these little promos and little segments of them having confrontations with people. It's just like, what's the purpose of all of this? When it's all said and done, like, what did I just sit here and watch? That's how I would always feel. So I'm sitting here and, like I said, sorry, I got a video I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna break some things down. And this is what I'm saying. You saw Animal and Hulk and Paul Ellering, you heard that music, and you just like, they about to kick somebody's ass. You saw Butch Reed and Ron Simmons coming down there, and all right, somebody about to get hurt. Right? You saw the Fantastics, Fulton and Rogers, come out there, and you saw them come out there, and you didn't know if they were going to win or lose, but you knew they were going to put up a hell of a match, and they were just exciting to watch. You understand what I'm saying? You saw Barry Windham and Lex Luger come out, and they went out there and wrestled, man, and all of a sudden, Wyndham turns on Luger, and it was stuff to look forward to, man. When you saw Ravishing Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez, like it was a different feeling. Now all everybody want to do is stand backstage and sound like they're on a couples therapy show. You remember, wrestlers were intense. They talked. They had one of my favorite segments is when Ravishing Rick Rude, Sting, I think, had just won the U.S. title. Ravishing Rick Rude went back there. He's like, I want to salute you, Sting. I want to have a toast to you. And Sting didn't want to drink with him, and he got mad at Sting, threw his drink in his face, and they started brawling back. That was one of my, because it was believable that they really had issues, and it was exciting to see. This shit that you see right now is like little kids. It's like really watching little kids just interact with each other. Grown men and women act like little children. And the way they do promos is so freaking boring, man. Well, Zelina, and they're twisting their hair, chewing gum, smiling, being sarcastic. I know that you won the title, but I just want you to know your title reign is not going to last long because I'm going to take that title home with me. And it's just like, what the... Who are you doing this for, kids? The guys come out, they stand up here, and they're just having conversation, but it just has no real impact, which is why I said, if you're going to do all these promos and little backstage segments and in-ring segments, have something to say, man, because if you're just going to stand there, is this exciting to you? I just want you to know that title is not going to be around your waist too long. So keep it warm for me. Keep it nice and shiny. And at the pay-per-view, I will have my hand raised with that title in my hand. And you and the world will know that I am the real champion. Well, it all sounds good, my man. But what you got to understand is I put a lifetime of work into this. And I am not going to lose this title to the likes of you. And all these people know, all the people at home know, I will die before I let you take this from me. Because that's all I see. That's the most intensity I see. So what are we doing? I mean, these men have little soft voices. The women sound like little girls. Some of the ring attire just look like, what the hell are you wearing? It's like, make you want to ask them, you wore that outfit on purpose? And this is what you see happening. So, like I said, it's a different day and time. But we know, if you use your common sense, it is very difficult. And this is what the WWE is finding out right now, that other companies already knew that still exists right now. It is a difficult time to stay up here in an era where people get bored so quickly and they just want more. They don't appreciate nothing. They just want more. They judge everything. They piggyback off of everything that they see, and they don't understand. It takes a lot more than just an idea that you got off of something you already saw. But once again, you like what you like, and there's things that you don't like. But this era of time, people don't like much of anything anymore. And I don't feel bad for the WWE at all, because this is the type of thing that they wish on other companies. The most the WWE has is this. As long as your company is not big enough to where wrestlers that they want to let go will go, okay, cool, let me on my contract. Because they know, you've heard several former WWE wrestlers say, Triple H has said to them at some point, no, you're not going to get out of your contract and go run to AEW. Yeah, but then tell you they're not concerned about AEW. Of course they are. And if not, then what is the message? Oh, I just don't want you to earn a living for yourself so you can feed yourself and your family. Yeah, I'm not going to let you out of your contract so you can go run into AEW. Well, I tell you what, for a person like Nikki Blackheart, I think that, I don't know her mindset. I don't know, I've heard her talk. I've heard her do one interview with it was like a video interview that she did. I will say this: I don't know exactly what she's looking for in terms of her future. But if Nikki Blackheart and anybody else, not just her, really anybody, see what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, they better know that the grass is not always greener in the WWE by far. Just to be on the roster does not mean that you prosper. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get out of this business what you thought you were going to get. Which is why so many people go there. And then look at the countless people, and I feel like people do it on purpose. Look at the countless people that have left the WWE. And they left them, they always try to say something good to like leave on a positive note. But they'll talk, and you'll hear them talk about things that frustrated them and that pissed them off. And yeah, so I don't want to burn a bridge, but y'all do some bogus nonsense pretty much. Y'all do some very disrespectful, dishonest things. And wrestlers from the past, the same thing. So, when people try to make Vince McMahon seem like he was some angel or like he really cared, no. You may have some people that you might gain an actual liking for and a healthy respect to where maybe you do want to see these individuals actually prosper in life outside of just wrestling. But usually that's somebody who's going to rehab or going through some things. They're not going to be the same without treatment, without some type of therapy or something. So yeah, you got the money and you help them. It's the least you can do, because this is the same guy that tell his talent, I'm going to use you until you have nothing left. It's like those gambling commercials, right? They sit there and tell you bet 50 and get 500 and this and this and that, and try to make you think that it's like a sure win. And then what do they have on a disclaimer at the bottom? And they say, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800, right? Gamblers Anonymous or some shit. Right. In other words, we'll fuck you up, then fix you. Or at least attempt to. So yeah, it's the least you can do. And these same people help you become a billionaire. So, but this is the slave mentality. Y'all seem to think that this guy just took people off the street, gave them jobs, and took care of it. No, man, they contributed. So without all these wrestlers, even like when y'all talk this shit about Hulk Hogan ain't going in and wrestle himself. He had opponents that put him over because he couldn't wrestle worth a damn. And his character worked because why? You have to have the opponents to go in there and do these things against. And that's why I said, I don't care even if it's a wrestler who I don't really care for. I understand their impact. You understand? I understand the impact that they've had. But yeah, it takes two to tango, man. It's not just one person. But again, I'm not a fan. I just appreciate things and I enjoy things. And so yeah, it's very easy for me to call things down the middle. And that's in anything in life. I'm not a liar. I don't make up things. I don't exaggerate. So fans lie, exaggerate, and make up things because they always want to give the nod to who and whatever they like. And I feel like, in all honesty, we know that the wrestling mind has changed. People change different eras of time. But I feel like wrestling as a whole hasn't figured out a lot of things. And this is why even like AEW has Satnam Singh, and then once in a while you'll see him come out and have a match on Ring of Honor. Otherwise you forget that he's even there, right? It's like, yeah, what happened to the big guys? What happened? And it's just like I said, sometimes, example, you see Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin coming down, to the ring. And then you look at who's standing across from them, right? And if the difference in their appearance make you say, man, you're going to kill these two little guys. Doesn't it make more sense that those much smaller guys are outquicking them using their speed and agility? Instead of, they're just going back and forth and it's a 50-50. No, this is what I'm saying. Wrestling psychology has changed to the point where a lot of people, they're not used to what happened back in the days or understanding why they did the things they did. And I'm not saying bring back everything, but there are key elements that you never get rid of. And I feel like that's a problem with wrestling right now. Because let's just be real. And Bobby Lashley was one of the guys that beat Omos, right? Okay, cool. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, they beat Andre the Giant. But it was like, here's the difference. Watching the Ultimate Warrior beat Andre the Giant is like watching the Incredible Hulk beat Galactus. You understand what I'm saying? It's more like an actual superhero, like two superpowers fighting. You understand? That's what it felt like. Now, of course, we know they're human beings, but what I'm saying is the characters were so large. That's what it felt like. Now it just felt like a bunch of mortal men and women just wrestling. So the most you can do is give us great matches. You see, like, for example, a guy can jump off the top rope and a big guy can catch him in the air and turn that move into something else, but not vice versa. So imagine watching the Incredible Hulk fight Batman. No, fuck Batman. Batman, he snapped him in half, it's over. Okay, but I'm saying, let's say the Incredible Hulk is fighting Spider-Man. But Spider-Man isn't backing down. They're going toe-to-toe. Something don't look wrong with that picture. Like something doesn't look incredibly wrong with that picture. He's not using his web to swing and haul ass from the Hulk and use his web to throw things at Hulk and get a shot in and then haul ass. And he's just going toe to toe with the Hulk. That don't look stupid to you? Think about it. This is my point, man. Wrestling has changed, and it got to a point where they're catering to this softer generation, the inclusion of these little scrawny wrestlers that, are not winning by outspeeding you and outwitting you, but just going toe to toe. Side note, for all of you that was when Ray Phoenix and Penta went running to WWE, tell me something. If you were a Ray Phoenix or a Penta fan, I'm pretty sure if you remember their stint in AEW, you feel sick to your stomach right now, don't you? And if you was to go back into the vault and watch Ray Phoenix and Penta in AEW and watch them now, you'd probably throw up on yourself. Yeah, because Ray Phoenix is nothing but a doormat. Penta is nothing but a doormat. They just use Penta in more situations where he's in matches that people will overall probably pay more attention to. But Ray Phoenix, what does he do? So what are they going to do now? Stick them back together and make them a tag team again? Why? So they can go run back and forth to AAA, but do much of nothing in the WWE? The Motor City Machine Guns, all these people, what are they doing with them? Yeah. But all that, right? You left AEW. You came to WWE, and you guys are doing absolutely nothing. And anytime your mentality, the words that come out of your mouth is, I'm just happy to say I'm here, you're a doormat. Because you have no standards, no backbone. It's whatever they throw at you, you'll just accept it. You guys in AEW were electrifying the crowds. You're not doing nothing over here in WWE but losing match after match after match. But you have the look that kids would like to buy your action figures, to dress up like you during Halloween. See, this is what the WWE is about. So back to Nikki Blackheart. No, she's not WWE material. She's not TNA material. Because TNA women's roster is way too small. They have a bunch of nobodies, and it would just be a bunch of NXT invasion, same crap over and over. For her to really shine and show who Nikki Blackheart is. And look, I don't care where you go, how people use you determines what's going to happen. Quick side note again. Do you guys see how Megan Bayne is doing suplexes with two people and muscling them up? Like, you see her using her power to get... You see how Megan Bayne has... You see how she's grown? Do you see how quickly she's an all-around performer now? Do you see that? Okay. Well, at the same time, right? If you go look at Megan Bayne in the Independents, she was champion at House of Glory. And I've seen her fight Bozilla. I've seen her and so many, what's her name? Gabby Forza. I don't know if y'all know who she is, but another big chick. I mean, Megan Bayne is like, I've seen the progression. Megan Bayne came to AEW 6 years ago in its early stages, and she got injured. And I don't know what happened with the contract, but she disappeared for a long time, and she, just came back like last year or whatever. But Megan Bayne, you could see how she has grown. And she's an all-around performer. And the only person to pin her so far is Toni Storm. Okay? Every wrestler is going to go through different things. But she was like the replacement of Jade Cargill. Okay? And if you look at her performance in the ring, her performances, and look at Jade's, this is my point. Look at Megan Bayne outside of AEW. You can see how she's grown, but you don't see AEW trying to force her to be a different person. No, we want to help you develop who you are. Either you're a three-point shooter or you're an inside player. Every player isn't going to have a complete all-around game. You understand what I mean? Some people might be good at rebounds, but not at blocking shots. They might be good at blocking shots and getting steals, but not at rebounds. Some people are just all around. You got to know what you're good at and stick to what you're doing. Anytime you have to force yourself to do things, it's you're gonna get, at some point, the wrong things are gonna happen. And in that wrestling ring, it's not what you want to happen. Was it Candice Michelle that wrestled against Beth Phoenix, and she went to the top rope and she lost her footing, and then when Beth pushed her, she fell and knocked herself out. That could have ended her career. That could have went all kinds of wrong. I remember I seen Bianca Belair hold a chick up over her head, and then she started doing this shit, and the way she slammed it down, that chick could have broke her neck. I mean, things can happen in that ring. And so we're talking about people that have years of experience, like years and years. So when I look at somebody like Megan Bain, and my point, yes, Jade has finally won the title. No, I don't want to see Tony go, okay, well, since Jade won the title, now I have to put one on. No, trust your process and let it go and build up like it's supposed to. That's my point. So when I say she was her replacement, what I mean is Camille is strong. Camille, she's toned, but Camille doesn't have the same presence as Megan Bain does. They're different, and Megan Bain is a bigger, stronger version. That's my point. She replaced her as a powerhouse, and she's tall. Not the little short like Olympia, muscular, but she's short too. So Megan Bain stands out in that situation. There's nobody that looked like Jordan Grace and looked like Jade Cargill, muscular wise. But now it's different. Jade is starting to get that size back and get the arms and the shoulders back right, because she had got little small skinny shoulders and everything. She struggled. She couldn't even pick Nia Jax up, man. And I was like, wow. So Jordan Grace lost all her muscular definition, but Chris Statlander, she's toned. You can tell Chris is strong. She has size on her. Jamie Hayter's another one, but Camille, she didn't do much because she was there with Mercedes Moné, so we didn't get to see much of her in the ring. But I watched her all throughout NWA. When she was in the corner of Nick Aldis, that's when she was more really cut up and muscular and everything. And she became an NWA Women's Champion, and I was watching her. So yeah, I wanted to see Camille in AEW, and she came. I don't know what her situation is. I do know she was supposed to be in some movie that's coming up. She's still under contract with AEW. So I don't know. Tommy Billington's still under contract with AEW. But they have these guys wrestling around the world. And if the idea is to get a more polished version of that person, that's just what it is. Okay, but I don't really know all the details of what's going on and why we don't see certain people anymore. And that's in all of these companies. There's somebody you see, then you don't see them. Brian Hammerstone is a guy. I don't know how he would do in AEW, because like Brian Cage, he got injured and then he has been out. I haven't seen these people wrestling anywhere else. So their injuries are legit. Wardlow came back, got injured the same night he came back. He's back on the show. And Brian Hammerstone and Brian Cage are very similar in build and stylistically. So it's one of these things where, that's what I'm saying, when you have two similar people, it might be better to make them a tag team. So I just don't know. So yeah, even if you want to see a person in a particular company, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do good in that company. It depends on the vision and what they see in these people. But yeah, it's a lot that we look at, man. And yeah, Megan Bain, I always had eyes on her, man. Megan Bain is incredible, man. I watched her start. And I'm seeing her now, and you can see the progression. Like I said, she's become an all-around performer. And the thing is, her style is her style. Akeem Olajuwon and David Robinson were different, but they were still great players. You understand what I mean? You don't try to make David Robinson Akeem. You don't try to make Akeem David, but you help them perfect their craft. Let's work where we can put all your strengths out there. And it's not about camouflaging your weaknesses. It's about taking them away. Let's keep you away from this. You don't need to be trying to do moonsaults. You don't need to be trying to do suicide dives. And you understand what I mean? Or, okay, you're not that quick. Like, you have to do everything you're training on. When you see there's weaknesses and this person just is not getting it, take that away. It's simple. And it took the WWE this long to finally camouflage Jade Cargill shit. I told you. So yeah, shut up. But everybody was trying to defend it, because now you see they're trying to do now what AEW was doing with her. Even brought the little slogan back, a little catchphrase back. So anyway, yeah, Nikki Blackheart would not be a good fit for WWE. And that's the thing about it. You'll sit here as a WWE fan, oh, bring her to WWE for what? Just so she can come into a ring and you fantasize about who she's going to wrestle and how the match is going to go, just for the match to go completely different, and you sit up here and go in comment sections talking about how the show sucked, it's unwatchable, or make your videos talk about how garbage the show was and how WWE just can't get it right, because that's pretty much what will happen. Companies don't know what to do. What formulas can you use for different wrestlers to put them in a position of becoming superstars? I mean, yeah, the ratings are up because of you. None of these companies know how to do that. None of them. AEW is not about trying to be sports entertainment. They're a combination of both, so it's all sports entertainment, but they are professional wrestling. What all of these companies are depending on, though, is when wrestlers from their companies get movie deals, that, hey, this is more exposure. Possibly. Just because people like you in the movies don't mean they're going to start watching wrestling. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I've seen, like, example, what's the guy named Bad Bunny? I've never heard any of his songs. I have no desire to listen to his songs. I didn't know who he was when I first saw him in the WWE. Okay, did y'all go out and start buying Bad Bunny CDs or downloading his music because he wrestled? No, I I don't care. I love watching the Avengers, right? But if I see Mark Ruffalo or Scarlett Johansson or whoever in a movie that I don't think is a good movie, I don't watch it just because they're in it. It's the fact that when they come together and do an Avengers movie, okay, cool, then I'm in. That's how that works. So that doesn't mean that people are going to just automatically start watching. And especially then, too, you got to understand, is the movie a blockbuster hit? Is it a big movie that everybody's talking about? So there's a lot of things that people look at. And when you start depending on things like that to create superstars, the difference is they're more recognizable now from a movie, not what they do in the ring. So if the star power isn't created in the ring and presented to the audience, it's not seen the same way, which means your ratings aren't going to go up just because this is a movie star. Okay, I'll catch you in your next movie. No different from a wrestler leaving one company to go to another and people going, that's my favorite wrestler, but unfortunately I won't watch because I'm only pro WWE or some nonsense like that. Example, I'll give you another example. I like to give these examples because a lot of times people listen to you, they hear you, but it's like you have to really dumb it down for them to really understand you. Another example. I grew up knowing who LL Cool J is. I grew up knowing who Ice Cube is. I grew up knowing who Jay-Z is, okay, as artists. Somebody right now, much younger, that don't know who these guys are, through what they got popular for initially, which was their music. Example, if you know of LL Cool J due to Lip Sync Battle, I don't watch Lip Sync Battle, but the audience that know of him through that, then they might see an interview or something and somebody's talking about something that he did when he was younger, or then they come across a song and say, oh, I didn't know LL Cool J was a rapper. Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, that's the guy that was in the movie Deep Blue Sea. You got to know him from certain movies. Oh, he was in one of the Halloween movies with Jamie Lee Curtis. but I didn't know he made music. Now you go back and listen and go, yo, he was dope. I didn't know he could rap. Oh, right? The same thing. They look at Ice Cube. Oh, I know him from the movies. Are we there yet and stuff? And okay, yeah, Friday. Oh, I didn't know he was a rapper too. Oh, yeah, beef with Eazy-E. Oh, he was in the. I didn't know that. I didn't even know who they were. I saw the NWA movie. This is how things happen. Okay, Jay-Z. Oh, that's Beyonce's husband. He owned the Nets, right? And this and this and that. Oh, I didn't know he was a rapper too. Here's the difference. People associate, well, LL just made an album last year, and of course the feature he did with Eminem was the really big song on the album, the Murdergram, which was pretty much, he had a song called Murdergram when his mama said Knock You Out album, but he did this one. So that got people more like, oh, I didn't know L was a rapper, I didn't know he could rap like that. But here's the difference. When you start talking about great lyricists or like great rappers, right? One of the reasons that people were leaving him out is because they look at him more of as an actor, a TV guy, than him making music. The same thing with Latifah. They started seeing her in movies and other stuff, and then not realize, yeah, she's a rapper too. Ice Cube, they see him, big three. Why they would talk about those guys more in terms of lyrical, like comparing them to rappers, is because they see them more as businessmen. They see LL as more of an actor. That's just people's perception, but that's how that's taken. You understand what I mean? Which means outside of people doing reaction videos, which is a popular thing on YouTube now, right? That's not going to make them go back and just start listening to all of LL's music because they find out who he is. But they'll continue to watch Lip Sync Battle. Watching the big three is how you got to know Ice Cube. If that's how, or the movies, that's not going to necessarily make you start going back and listening to all his music. Same with Jay-Z. Oh, I didn't know he was a rapper. Okay. No, you got to know him as the owner of the Nets. So, no, that doesn't automatically make them go back and start listening to his music. Now, I'm not talking about people that know who they are from their music. That don't apply to them. I'm talking about the people that know them from what they're doing now. It doesn't automatically do that. And you can see that in the numbers. So you know that that's not the case. So, yes, some people will, but not the masses. That's just not the way it works. People catch on to things because of YouTube algorithms. So right now, if you typed in, LL Cool J Murdergram, you're going to get either the first version, which he did by himself, or the one he did with Eminem. And then that can go, oh, shit, all right. And if you like what you hear, let me start checking out LL. But that's my point. It's just going to be the stuff that on YouTube. They're not going to go start downloading all their music, okay? Just like people who will settle for watching highlights instead of an actual full show. Yeah, that's just the way things happen. And I feel like these people that's within the business, a lot of times they get detached from reality. And that's why people can't really see what you see as fans of something, because within that bubble, they think they have all the answers and ideas for everything, but they actually don't, man. And that's why when I say listen to people like Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo and them, they sit here and complain about AEW. Now they're complaining about WWE now. But yeah, they go out and do something that doesn't even go viral for some smaller company that doesn't even have talented wrestlers. You understand what I'm saying? So what are you bringing to the table? If I can sit here and critique everything and I'm in a position where I know people, I got some money, hey, you know what, man? I can get with the right people, we can take this to the next level, then that means that's what I'm going to go out and do. Otherwise, what's your excuse for being a part of a promotion and nobody's talking about it? And why is your input not giving this product more views and more attention? Where's your TV deal for this company? See, this is what I'm saying. It's easy to talk. And, Bischoff worked with, production and stuff like that. And so Bischoff knows better, man. That's why I said there's nothing but hate when you hear these people say what they say. And yeah, Nikki Blackheart, not a good fit for WWE. She's a wrestler. Jade Cargill, WWE, without admitting it, is trying to go and use that AEW format for her. You know, after trying to change her to a diva. Okay? Saraya, she'd get buried if she goes back to WWE. Karrion Kross and Scarlett, they don't need the WWE. They're better off without them. And the truth of the matter is, these wrestlers can go out on the independent circuit and they can make a lot of money. The wrestling fan want to see you part of a brand where you can watch them week after week after week doing different things and having storylines where they're involved heavily into the product. So just wanted to get that video out here, and I wanted to end it with that so you guys don't forget what the whole plot of the video was in the first place. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Catch y'all on the next video.